Yeah, I know we're starting a little late. I had to smoke a big fat spliff, drink some coffee because I am going to be tortured with this episode. So,
I am inevitable.
Blind faith, I see the game in braille. Hell's Kitchen got the devil in the details. Red suit, but my sins stay pale. Shadow boxing with my past, never ring that bell. Echoes of crime and the echoes of footsteps. Preaching the streets while I'm dodging the death threats. Halo got horns when the system neglects. Law in my veins, but the pain my pretext. Flip like a coin, heads turn when I'm flipping them. Dancing on the edge, got the reaper in my peripheral. Gospel of the fists, every hit like a parable. Scripture in my stars, every cut unforgettable. Walk with the Lord, but I talk with the sinners. Breaking my bread with the wolves and the winners. Blind to the fear, but I see through pretenders. There with the devil, I dine with Avengers. I've been ready to feast, Hell's Kitchen's at the table. Fork in the road, but I'm steady staying faithful. Sins on my plate, but the chef keep it tasteful. Born again, but the city stay fatal.
That's some fire lyrics, bro. That's some fire lyrics, bro.
I tell you what, I see why Kingpin hates Daredevil. If I was to take a butt cutting like that, boy, that's like a slave butt cut. Man,
well, seeing as that I have to talk about this crappy episode, at least I can get some jokes in while we're doing it. So thank you guys for at least making me laugh because, oh my God, I could be watching freaking paint dry than doing this. But we are here to talk about episode 8 of Daredevil. And I don't even know if we can call it Daredevil. We should call it Matt Murdock. So episode 8 of Matt Murdock. Danny, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Oh, my Lord. I wish not tonight because you are super trash mood tonight. You find me on this channel. On Sundays, we got one more episode. Tuesday, you can find me with Nzo for the season finale. Monday and Fridays at 7 a.m. You can find me trying to give words of praise and upliftment and spirituality. Also, you can find me Wednesdays on the Hangout. And Sundays, I just got off the show with Storms Live, Robert Storm at 7 p.m. So I'm a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit everywhere.
Yes, sir. What's up, Dandelion? How you doing? Brian, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Hey, you can find me here. You can find me on Tuesday with Nzo. Or you can find me in the Spoiler Kings Mondays and Thursdays. We go live at 9:30 to midnight. And then we do the same thing on Saturdays. We're doing episode breakdowns. But since The Last of Us is coming out tonight, so tomorrow we'll be doing Last of Us, the whole show, talking about that.
Thank God we're going to get a real show to watch tonight because, boy, one more episode of this and I'm going to do my Snoopy dance. Trust me. What's up, Dewan? How you doing? Thanks for popping in. Warren, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Here, at home, and God.
Now, before I let JG do his thing, Warren, can you tell the people what you told us backstage, please?
Yes. So I said that I believe Ironheart will be better than Daredevil season 1, and if I am wrong, I will donate $100 to Enzo's channel, and I will say it with the chest on channel because I'm not afraid.
So you think the show that was made 3 years ago that Marvel was too afraid to let go to actually put out is going to be better than Daredevil?
Yes, yes.
Right.
I'm not gonna go back on my word. I'd look like a hypocrite.
Look like a hypocrite. You have $100.
That's fine.
And here's the thing: we will come on this panel and we will tell Warren because he said he wants a majority saying it's trash. We're going to be completely honest. So if it's good, I want everybody to be honest and say it's good. And if it's trash, I want everybody to say it's trash.
I want
we'll do the honor system. We'll do the honor system.
And we'll have the chat vote too.
I know I'm getting $100.
Yeah, you don't want the chat part.
I know I'm gonna get $100 that day, so we'll be good. And no, the chat's not involved in that one. No. It'll be the panel. Right?
Why can't it be the chat? Because I want everybody involved.
Because the chat has some kind
The only
of.
way you could win was with
Wait,
the chat and ask your mama
wait.
to come on.
Is this
and your
not a
brothers to
democracy?
come on.
There's no democracy in Canada. Free speech.
Oh yeah, there's a democracy for the panel. The panel, you know what I mean? Maybe we'll put a vote in there. We'll see what happens, and that'll be one vote. But majority,
one vote.
Okay,
one
we can
vote.
do that.
That's fine.
We can do that. JG, tell the people where you can find us, or do your thing.
Well, okay, where you can find. Okay, cool. JG Shallon Terrific, the undefeated.
This dude is starting already. All right, we just got on the show, and he's starting already. JG, I'm gonna bring you back in, and we're gonna do it again. Tell the people where they can find you, sir.
You said it better. The first time you said, tell the people where you can find them. I'm like, huh? Okay. JG Shallon Terrific, the undefeated, undisputed final boss of the 36 Chambers of Shaolin. Why? Thank y'all for tuning in. You can catch me live Wednesday nights on the OOC with the host Nzo, aka the Abbott, and the Osiris of the Sheet Spliff King, and the Professor of Gunja, alongside his co-host Roberto, aka Mr. 100, aka No Trouble Did Anything Gonna Diary. No woman, no cry.
Bo.
And of course, catch me Tuesday nights for the season finale, thank God, of the Daredevil with my homie Superwise. Mi hermano de otra madre, el principio de Nueva York. Got some fun things over there. And catch out my uncle on the GGC doing big things. And of course, last but definitely not least, the amazing, the outstanding, the charismatic, always man of the hour, the man who's always delivering that good message unapologetically. Giving that good message. The man with the fashion sense that could turn any pauper into a prince. Simplify himself. One of the finest police officers to ever grace these great United States. If you smell what Danny is cooking.
You know, I talk about Nzo to my family all the time. That stops tonight.
All the hate, man. This is trash. That is.
You know what?
Yeah, the hate is strong with him. The hate is strong with you.
I only do it, Danny, because you're my boy and I love you. You know what I mean? So I like messing with you. That's the only reason. You see, I don't mess with none of these guys like I do with you, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't care less about.
The last 6 weeks of JG has been awful.
I want no part of that war.
I couldn't care less about anybody else on the panel. Just these guys. Just you, Daddy. Nerd Champ said better than most of Disney Plus recent offering, but still lacking.
That's Nerd Man.
Was that Nerd Man?
Yeah, he used some of the same verbiage. Who's my offerings?
Nerd Champs.
No, that's Nerd Man on a different channel. Who's
Is
talking
it?
about offering? I believe it is. Got the same thing. Nerd Champs, Nerd Man. You trying to fool somebody?
I'm finna speak his language.
Who talks about
Bullocks.
offerings besides Nerd Man?
Bullocks.
Is that you, Nerd Man? I hope that's not Nerd Man. Well, if it is, make sure you check out my last show because I got a little talking about you, which I meant to clip and send it to you. But yeah, if that is you. But yes, we are going to get into it. Daredevil episode 8. We have one more, and then we have a full year before I have to come back here and talk about this ish again. So thank you, Jesus, on that one. Praise the Lord, Danny. You see, I'm praising the High Mighty.
I'm looking at the sky. Make sure I get Brooke.
You playing with lightning.
Why? I'm genuinely, thankful. He said, no idea who Nerd Man is. Okay, so that's Nerd Champs. I got you. Well, Danny, give us your overall thoughts on episode 8, please.
I was shocked. The ending totally shocked me. I'm still scratching my head like, why did he do it? I'm very eager to see next week's episode to try and explain it. this further did character development in my eyesight because you kept seeing the comparison between Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk. They're almost full Daredevil, full Kingpin. You see him doing some of his tactics by pulling each one of those billionaires into the room and kind of putting pressure on them. Classic Kingpin. You see Daredevil using his powers and hearing stuff and figuring stuff out. Seeing that it did answer a question that we saw that she was working with Kingpin Vanessa. So to me, this answered a lot of questions. It pushed the story through. I think this is definitely not a filler because if they had take this out, we would miss a whole lot. So I definitely like this episode. You see the tension between him and his wife his girlfriend Heather. I think that's her name, Heather. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like it, and I'm very eager to see how they're going to tie this all together for the season finale Tuesday.
Absolutely. Nerd Champs, thank you for popping in, though. I don't think I've ever seen you before, if you're not Nerd Man, but thank you for popping in. JG, overall thoughts of episode 8?
I think, and please listen to me carefully, Nzo. I think this was a great episode based on what we've seen all season.
Appreciate it.
Based on what we've seen all season, I think this was a really, really good episode. And I also love it was different for me because we see Matt unhinged throughout the whole episode and Fisk actually calm throughout most of the entire episode. So that was something different. But yeah, the tension from beginning to end, I enjoyed it. And I guess I'll get into it a little later when we talk about positives and negatives.
But so he said, sub to your channel, check out our live recap of the finale on Thursday. Okay, so you have a channel too? Definitely check that out. And there's a lot of people on this channel.
Don't be plugging your crap on this channel, bro.
Why not?
I'm joking. You know me. I'm always talking to you. I'm just joking. Plug it in.
You know what? Since you're the first time here and you didn't know, just for JG being like that to you, brother, he gets a phantom.
Had to step away.
You know what? You literally should have one for all of us. Like just like as you see our faces going through.
Yes.
Saggy said, "F you, Jarrell."
We don't let anybody on the panel disrespect new subs over here, brother. So there we go. JG, you got Phantom Zone for you.
I'll remember this. I will remember this day.
And like I said, Brian has a channel, Brian the Grizzly. They're in the description. Mr. Danny Graham, The Road to Wisdom, has a channel too. So make sure to check it out. And JG is doing something with his uncle. So make sure to check that out. I don't have JG's uncle's channel in there, but JG, you could put it in the
you talking about
put it in the chat.
Superwise is his uncle?
No. No. Brian, overall thoughts of episode 8.
All right, as an episode in a vacuum, it's a good episode. In a vacuum, I was watching it, if it was an episode of Law and Order, I'd be like, all right, that's fine. It's a good episode. As a penultimate episode, it's trash as a penultimate. It didn't do any of the things that a penultimate episode should have done. That's my issue. The episode itself, I think, had a lot of good things. The problem is you didn't answer hardly any questions. Like you didn't do none of the crap you're supposed to be doing, or said this was a better finale episode than the penultimate episode. So why the hell we don't get a finale now without Daredevil being Daredevil? That's bullshit. That's stupid. So
but this Negro is still living. I don't know what's going on.
You know what? I think all the hate is because I predicted that this episode would be everybody coming full circle, and that was it. And that's what we got.
You see, Nerd Champ is clapping, so he agrees with you, Brian, and he's probably going to agree with me too. Warren, positives on this. Overalls on this episode.
We got the second Netflix Daredevil episode on Disney Plus finally out of the 8. So but it's still I'm gonna kind of agree with Brian in the sense that this looks like more of a episode 3 or 4 than an episode 8. That's what I think. So but I'll give my pros and cons. It was a good episode, but too little, too late. That's kind of my thinking.
And for me, I agree with Brian. So, okay, as much as I sat there and said episode was trash, we already know that the writing in this show is good. It's really good, right? I'm not even gonna deny that. But as I said, for a second to last episode, it was trash. It just was like, this is what you guys are doing, and it also felt like it was totally different from what we saw, like the first 7 episodes, and we know why that is. But it's just like it just didn't feel like it should have been. Like I said earlier, and I'll get to that later, is why I think it should have been the final episode, and then we should have something else for this episode. Other than that, I just think like,
how y'all know they won't do a time jump?
That'll piss me off more. And for a finale, you're doing a time jump for a finale, and then we have to wait a year to actually get to that time jump. You don't do that.
Well, I think they're doing a time jump, and then they'll show what happened, and because we still haven't seen what happened with White Tiger, none of that stuff. The girl.
So you want to do a flashback?
No, I'm saying maybe like a time jump, say like 30 days, and then while the episode will tells us what he did is recuperate and all this kind of stuff, and then we go to the finale where he decide, okay, I'm going to go after this, I'm going to do this. But they can do a time jump to heal him and still explain to us what happened and do a kind of like a flashback and a time jump at the same thing. And then we see him in the suit doing whatever he decided to do in those 30 days. I'm going after Kingpin. I'm going after Vanessa. I'm going after the cops. I'm going to get.
Bullseye's going to be sitting there let loose for a for an entire 30 days.
They could do a time jump to make him to get him healed. What I'm saying, because right now he's not able to be Daredevil. I agree with you with that.
Okay, so I can understand where you come from saying they do a time jump. I pretty much wouldn't like that because, like Brian said, now you have Bullseye running around there for a month straight doing what? Trying to kill Kingpin? What is he hiding now? Like, what is he doing? You know what I mean?
He's going to be hiding behind his cops, though. That's where he get those cops.
Who? Bullseye Kingpin doesn't have it. I mean, Bullseye is running around.
Kingpin going to have those cops chasing him, putting on heat. That's just a theory, like I said.
No, it could happen though. I'm not saying it wouldn't. It could happen.
Can I say something though? We've seen Daredevil get stabbed up with a sword through him. You don't think I think a bullet he's gonna heal it faster than that sword he got in season 1. Come on, like
he's gonna be okay tomorrow.
No, but
like his heart stops beating, and he's like, okay.
Brian, last time I checked, Bullseye did stab him like 15 times in that first fight.
Brian, you don't remember the season 1 where that sword with Naboo? Naboo beat his ass and the sword went. Come on, you're telling me that sword is not going to hurt more than that single bullet? To
answer your question, do you understand at the end of this episode what the director wanted to show was that he was dying? That Daredevil, they wanted to pan up. Read it. He released it. He said, the way I wanted to do this shot was I wanted to pan up, look to the heavens, let you know that Matt's soul is leaving his body. The whole point, what he really wants was to show is that he was about to die. He wanted his heartbeat to stop. That is what they're going for. So I'm telling you, it's not just getting stabbed and him walking it off and John Wick and
I didn't say that.
Stapling his stomach together and being okay. He almost died.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I said Matt has experienced more harm to his body than a single bullet. That's what I'm saying. So if he comes back,
but this bullet caused him to almost
die. That's what Brian's saying.
But it hit his shoulder. I make sure I looked at the video a couple times just to make sure I don't.
Look at the director's cut, and he'll tell you all about it.
But did it not hit his shoulder though?
No,
I don't.
A lot of times, when a bullet hits you, it kind of bounces around. So even though did he go through the shoulder, it could have bounced towards his heart or something. They could work it out to where they can have that happen.
Absolutely,
and it will make sense.
Or lung collapses.
Absolutely, 100%.
Is your computer finally working, Chris?
Look at Chris. Look at him.
I'm just happy. Drinking a beer here on my computer.
Dandelion said,
how bad is it?
Dandelion said it was only a flesh wound. He'll be up as soon as he gets a bandage. Yeah, they'll probably play it like that. You know what I mean? That's what I see them doing. But while Chris is here, Chris, tell the people where they can find you and your overall thoughts of this episode.
Real Review 3000, Chaos Central, First Word of Wisdom, your channel, Big Ford Entertainment, anywhere and everywhere. I'm the original stream whore. That's what I tell people. Anyways, my overall thoughts about this episode was it was done well. The writing's solid. There are questions always. There's always going to be questions with these episodes about are they going to land it or not. So I'm holding back judgment right now.
And you know what? It's funny too, because I could say that too. I said that earlier. I'll hold judgment for the last episode. The last episode could probably do something to make me look at this episode differently. But right now, the way I look at it, when we get into all of it, it's not good. JG, overall thoughts of this episode?
Already said it.
Oh, my bad.
Can I read this real quick, just so you guys?
Yeah.
I'm not pulling this out of nowhere. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what the director said. He said, we wanted to show, we wanted to have the camera pull out from Matt and Heather and slowly tilt up into the sky, up into the ceiling. There would be some kind of religious iconography on the copula above the dance. It would kind of give the impression that Matt's soul was leaving his body, but also the idea of him having committed this act of defending his worst enemy now gives him grace that he felt like he lost in episode 1. Kind of saying like the Daredevil, that he is Daredevil and he's not lost the privilege anymore. He said the logistics didn't work because, you know, how all the lights above there, but we realized that's what we're going for, and that's the language we're going with, and we're going to establish with the blue light. We can do the same idea with the flashing red lights. That's what we are doing from episode 1. Then we have the imagery that is kind of like an upside down mirror where he's on the floor and the blood's pushing towards the camera, reminds you in the way the wages of things that he has done, just like Foggy. I'm telling you that it's not a flesh wound.
Exactly. Joe Black, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm not saying it's not a flesh wound. I'm saying we've seen Matt get beaten up worse than this. So to say it's not unrealistic if he doesn't come back, if like let's say if it's a 2-week time jump, that's not unrealistic. That's what I'm saying. Considering the harm we've seen him, the damage he's gotten the first 2 seasons to the people he's fought, that's not unreal. To one bullet. We're gonna compare one bullet to what we've seen Matt Murdock.
Not the bullet, because it's like you can get beat up and not be able to, you know, you break every bone in your body, but you're still alive. But one bullet could go to the wrong place and you die.
And
it doesn't matter one bullet versus the beat up. Like what I'm telling you is that one bullet was strategically placed in a place that he's not going to just be able to get up and function the same way. And I'm not even gonna say that he went to his heart as much as maybe his lung and collapsed his lung. And that's what probably what you're gonna do. And it's not gonna be Daredevil most likely doing any of this crazy stuff. It's gonna be like Frank. It's gonna be like all those other things.
Thank you, Joe.
Frank would not walk off getting shot in the lung and have to collapse your lungs.
Stop it, Brian. Let's not go Frank encyclopedia on me. We know it's pain tolerance. Don't do that. Don't do that.
If your lung collapses, you can't breathe.
We've seen Frank get like a drill through his and get a sledgehammer to him. Like, come on, like
those are getting beat up. I'm telling you, a bullet is different.
Enzo, continue the show. My bad.
First off, Nerd Champs, you are on point. This is Disney Plus. Lightsaber stabs aren't even fatal anymore. A bullet is nothing. Correct.
Thank you.
The stabbing a lightsaber through someone's chest and them not dying is some of the shit that they ever fucking did in Star Wars. Excuse my language, but I can't stand that.
Yeah, we seen that somebody got shot with a lightsaber before not get killed. He sliced Finn back almost. Finn still lived in the back of the tank.
Who?
Yeah, we had to get like a little tank to heal.
Who?
Right?
Yeah,
it took some time.
Iron Lung to live.
Kylo Ren sliced Finn in the back with a lightsaber, and he still lived.
Okay, so so hold on. A slice in the back, yes. And again, this is Disney Star Wars we're talking about, right? Disney Star Wars. So that's part of that. A slice in the back, he lived, fine, whatever. And even that is like, okay, I could get that. But the stab through the chest, and it comes out the back of you, and you live. Nah, bro, I don't mess with that. I don't like that. It kind of takes away the strength of a lightsaber to me, right? But we're talking about Daredevil, so let's get back to that. Warren, overall thoughts on this episode?
Oh, I gave it. I said that it was
good.
I said it was good.
Yeah, we all gave. Okay.
Too little, too late. That's it.
Yeah, we all gave our overall. So now we're going to get into our positives. We're going to go the other way around, and I'll let Warren start. What are your positives for this episode, Warren?
Positives. Well, we finally got Bullseye, like I've been crying about, like a girl. I'm not gonna lie. We got some explanation on who killed Foggy and what was the reason behind that. Um,
Did we
uh,
get an explanation?
yeah,
Well, it's
because
kind of hinted.
yeah, no, it's hinted of because Foggy was gonna win a case, and Vanessa.
You said why? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we got that. We got Vanessa. We got Adam closure. Adam storyline's over now. We got the pacing. The pacing was good. The pacing didn't feel like I was gonna sleep through it. That was another thing. And there was action, not Daredevil action, but there was action throughout the. You could tell it was a draft. Oh, just sum it up overall. You could tell the first writers who started the season and the new writers. That's it. That's the pro. We got the right writers in this in episode 8. I'm not saying that this was the greatest episode, but we got the right. You could tell just from this episode, Netflix writers to Disney Plus writers.
Joe Black,
that's it.
Joe Black, you were on point, and I should have you on here to replace some of these.
No, wait. Enzo, what I mean by positive is that I said this was good. I'm not saying it's the best thing ever. This isn't Scorsese. I'm saying that this is what we should have got. I'm gonna agree with Brian. This felt more like a third up. That's a negative, but I'll leave that for later. Like we should have got these writers for the first 7 episodes. That's what we should have got the Netflix writers. That's it.
100%. But that's the reason why it feels disjointed as it does, kind of. But we'll get into the negatives when we talk about that. But Brian, what are your positives?
I'm gonna give you the use of the blue light versus red light. So when you start to see Bullseye's like focus, when he was dealing with his focus, it was all in blue. Like even the episode started off with that blue rose, that's outside the prison walls and stuff like that. And then every time he was focusing, everything was in a blue hue. I thought that was pretty cool. And then, which is opposite of Matt, where when he's really getting into that Daredevil mode, it's all red. Which is also interesting because when Kingpin's real Kingpin is like white, like they using these colors very well. I think that's a good thing. I think they made me really hate Heather. Like that's a positive because I don't like her anyway. So they really made me solidify I should not like her. So that's it. I like what we got with what we're getting with what's his name? What's her name? Kingpin's wife.
Vanessa.
Yeah,
Vanessa.
I think what they showed exactly what I thought from last week was that Vanessa, was working with Kingpin the entire time, and it's still things you can't trust with her necessarily, but I like the way they're going, and I thought how Heather was going one way with Matt, and then Kingpin and Vanessa are going the other way was kind of good with the mirror thing. It's a sliced mirror again, so they're doing good things in it. This wasn't a penultimate episode, but it was good. It was a good regular episode, like Law and Order. If you could watch it on its own, it was good. But as soon as you think about this, the end of the series, you're like, then why did you do this?
Agreed. JG, positives.
Yeah. Again, for me, this was a really good episode based on what we've seen all season so far. It was really good. I do agree that this probably would have served better as an earlier episode, to where Bullseye then probably could have shot Foggy and you could have started there and moved on. But no, what can you do now? It is what it is. Let's see. I love the tension from beginning to end. I enjoyed it. This is one of the few episodes where we see that Matt is really unhinged throughout the whole episode, and Fisk is very calm for the most part throughout the episode. That was different, and I enjoyed that. Let's see what else. I like what Brian said. The red and blue light was very different, unique, and it served its purpose, and it was done really well. The writing was done really well for the most part. Bullseye getting out of prison, that was pretty cool. So if you want action, I guess that was good action for me. How it's almost like he used Matt to do what he did so he can get into that situation to get out the way he did. The police officers, the crooked cop, right? You see them abusing their authority, right? Putting that guy's hand in the grease. right? Like, damn, like they're going there. So you can really tell that there was a completely different writers this episode compared to the other ones. Other than that, of course, Vanessa, like I said, quoting Russell Crowe Gladiator, she has a talent for survival, right? She knows that with Fisk, it's best to be on his side, at least for now, so she can gain what she needs to gain.
Hey, did you notice though when after she shot Adam, right? She had that gun in her hand for a while, right? And
Yeah.
I was wondering if she was gonna look at Fisk at all. And what did he do? He grabbed the gun and threw it on the table to let her know, no, I'm still in control. That was interesting.
Exactly. Like I said, she got talent for survival, man. You know, because you see her out like maybe we should let him live. Looking at Fisk eyes, no, I need to kill this dude right now because if I don't, it's gonna be some issues. So, yeah. But even towards the end, we see that Vanessa was kind of starting to get a little unhinged a little bit because Bullseye's out. Unless that's a plan, I don't know. We'll see next episode. But you know, she's saying, "Hey, I got to tell you something." Right? So like, okay, what's going to happen now? But we did see that everything started to come full circle where Matt knows that Heather is basically Fisk and Vanessa's therapist. And it's almost better to let her know now that he's Daredevil. But then again, you know, can he trust her? Right? So I don't know. Like I said, those are my positives for now. Of course, some will probably come to me later, but
I got you. Chris, go ahead with your positives.
I mean, I agree with the Vanessa thing there, kind of, but I'm wondering if we're going to see a little bit of maybe Matt had something to do with Bullseye getting out. I mean, technically he did, but I wonder if he knew what he was doing and why he was doing it. And that there's some sort of thing he's thinking up here in his head and trying a theory out to see if it works. And maybe that's why he saved Kingpin. But outside of that, that's a theory. Brian, what he said, JG, what he said, this whole thing is turning out like one of the biggest things here is this: when Matt gets in the way of the bullet, that he is either going to hurt, kill, whatever, Kingpin or Fisk. It's that's writing we don't expect from this group of writers from Disney Plus writers. So that gives me some hope again, holding out judgment that they're going to do the right thing. It's more difficult to think how they're going to do it, but whatever. We're going to give them credit for the fact that at the end, what we thought might happen, what we thought was happening, didn't happen quite that way. Yeah, his girlfriend, Rachel, is that the or
Heather.
What's her name? Heather. Thank you, Heather. Yeah, Heather. You know, she can go away. I hope in the next. I hope in the second part of this or the next season or whatever we're going to call this, she's out of it. I hope this next episode, one of the things we get out of it is she's gone. Since Fisk and Rebecca let her go, and Matt and her are having issues, I hope she just goes away. She might come back and get hurt again.
Did you feel the same way, Chris, that about when she was talking about all the vigilantes, just lumping them all under one, frame? You're saying like, they're all bad. They're all overall boys.
Theory. That's a constant theme in these things, though, is that you're always going to have one person, typically a doctor of some sort, lump them all into one and say, oh, they're all the same. And yet when you watch these series and you watch these different vigilantes and you read the comics and stuff, you realize that each one of them, besides having a different motivation or a different place where they're want to fix things that are out there, some of them are very wrong in their methods, others aren't. So we see the layers as the reader, as the watcher. So it's important to have that person here that wants to just lump them all together. Fisk does it because he doesn't want competition. He doesn't want competition. She's doing it because she thinks they all fundamentally have a mental problem that makes them want to be macho or do things that when the mask is off,
little boys
couldn't do in normal life.
But do you not think that it was her? Like it's a way for it's a defense mechanism for her because she shot somebody and she's trying to say, "Oh, their attitude transferred into me." That was bullshit. She's just full of it.
No. You were put in a position. You had a gun. And you shot. I don't know what's wrong with that. I don't know why she's worried about that Daredevil was there and that he didn't do anything or whatever. I mean, so all the stuff she was spitting out in this episode was really, if anything. I'll wait for that. Hold on. But The whole thing here is I think the writing is heading in a different position than we thought, because at the end, um, you know, this goes back at the beginning of the series where I started saying that you're starting to see that Fisk and Matt are mirroring what they used to be. Matt is becoming much more violent about things. He's done this before. We're not going to go over that, but whatever. And Fisk is pretty calm compared to what we've seen. Yes, we've seen a couple outbursts here. Yes, he got his wife to shoot somebody, but he did open up and show that he had Adam. I mean, that's something he probably wouldn't do any other time. He would have just kept him there or killed him himself. And so there's some things here where we're seeing this mirror. But now I think this is the reset button. I think him getting shot in this is a reset button. Where now Fisk is going to sit there and go like, well, what do I do now? And Matt realizes that he still has the ability to put other people in front of him for other reasons other than just responsibility. He wasn't responsible for Fisk at that moment, but he's still for the better good or for his purpose of helping people did put himself in there. So I think we're going to see this as a reset button where Fisk is going to start turning back to who he was, which we saw evidence of that in this, and that Matt is going to start going back more into the mode he was. No, it does not feel like Hell's Kitchen, Joe. No, I understand that, but that's why they reintroduced it in here. I think now they're trying to show the born again fact. I think this is where he's really going to become the born again Daredevil. So, what does cool have to do with anything? I don't know if a character has to be cool.
Well, hold on. Let me read his question. He said, honest question. Does either Matt or Fisk seem cool? Sorry. Seem as cool to you? Like, do they have the same or even similar aura? It's the camera work, the music drops, the lightning. Does it feel like Hell's Kitchen? You guys can answer that. Go ahead.
There's parts of this series that feel like the first series. Parts. It's not fully. I do appreciate that they're doing a lot of work on the camera work and the scene setting to try to make it feel like the original. But no, it does not feel like Hell's Kitchen. But that's to be expected because they're not in Hell's Kitchen until this episode, and then it started feeling like the old Daredevil again. So, I mean, and the cool factor, do they seem as cool? No, but they're both going through a transformation. So we're not seeing things we're used to with either of these guys. And one thing I'll give Disney Plus about Fisk is they've set this arc of recreation of himself in multiple series now. And that's important to show this stepping. And then Matt, where he's been shown in different things. I mean, if you ask me, the She-Hulk episodes, those are the best episodes of the one he was in, which we've said before. Why is it that the people that the series are about are never the ones that make the series good? It's everybody else they bring in to do it. Well, I think this works with Daredevil and Matt and Fisk. I think it works well. This whole series is really surrounded around those people, and that's what it's supposed to be. And we've complained about that in the past, so I think they're doing the right thing. But those are my likes, and that's what I have to say about that. So,
all right. Danny, positives.
A lot of positives. Like I said, we had questions prior to this video, this episode rather, about was Vanessa loyal to herself or the other guy, whatever his name was, or to Kingpin. We found out that question. The dynamic, like I think somebody said earlier, I think it maybe was Warren, I'm not certain, that now Matt seems very not sure of himself, and Wilson seems very calm. I like the way they're switching that temperament up between the two of those. I think that Fisk knows that Vanessa sent for Bullseye to kill Foggy, and I think that it was very smart how Bullseye. I really think that Fisk set up Bullseye to be taken out of that secret. Well, Max, not he was sequestered, I guess, and put into the general population. I think that was all behind him pulling the strings. I think that Bullseye asked Matt coming there knowing that that was the only way he can be able to get any kind of weapon, because once Matt lost his cool and he broke his teeth, that's all he needed to use to kill those people. So I think all that was premeditated. I think that Kingpin is one step ahead of Vanessa. She thinks that she's one step ahead of him. So I think they're gonna. We may see that possibly. I don't know if that's predicting anything for Shannon, but when I saw that, I said the Kingpin knows what's going on. So I think that he's not telling his left hand what his right hand is doing. The master doing that, and I love seeing that. I'm not like I like Vanessa. She's not hard on the eyes. Not Vanessa, but Heather. So I don't wish she get
She's
killed.
not hard on the eyes, but
that's all that matters. I don't care
okay.
if she's dumb. I don't care if you don't like her. I'm saying to Danny, I like looking at her. So hey, let her stick around. She can be my doctor any day.
We'll have her picture just kept like a full body picture right there on the side of the
like Gal Gadot.
for the rest of the
Gal
now on.
Going into the party.
Yeah.
Those 2 splits works for me. Yeah, I know some of y'all think that it was trash, garbage, whatever you're gonna call it, but to me, the episode was definitely not a filler. I think if you take this episode out, you won't know a lot of things. I kind of see what Warren's saying is we've seen him take some extreme hard punishment and bounce back. I don't know about this bullet. I don't know. The thing that Brian read was very informative about what the direction of the director was going. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if he miraculously got some kind of healing factor or something, and we see him in the suit, because most beatings and most physical damage and trauma that we couldn't take, these superheroes seem to be able to take it, shake it off, and still keep going. So I think we still may yet see him in the Daredevil suit in some shape, form, or fashion.
All right. For me, I'll go with like what most of you guys said as positives. You know, he said, "Don't tell Dr. Umar." I feel you, Joe Black. I wouldn't tell him either, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna go with a few positives that I have, or like same thing as the panel. You know, the connection they did where, you know, Fist's relationship was getting stronger as Matt was getting weaker. That was good. The writing in the show is good, again, like I said. But other than that, I guess the guy that plays Bullseye is okay, right? I know someone said the Colin Farrell one was trash, but I liked him. You know what I mean? So I don't know who said that. I can't remember. I think it was Brian that said he was trash. Brian, was it you that said he was trash?
No.
Okay, wasn't you? Okay, wasn't you? Someone said the Colin Farrell one was trash, and I was like, no, he wasn't. He was good. So hopefully we get to see more of Bullseye, because anytime they fight, I think their fight scenes are good, right? But it's just so much negatives that those are the only really positives that I can come up with. So we're gonna switch it to the negatives now, and we're gonna
wait.
Go
ahead, Warren.
Yeah, I forgot the positives. I forgot 3 positives. One, I like the commissioner talking to BB Urick, because that
was good.
I agree.
I like the fact, the foreshadowing of how Daniel is gonna die, because I kept count of it. He said, "I will burn for you 3 times," so I wouldn't be surprised if we see him actually get burned, because and then Fisk even said, "Yes, you will burn for me." So like, I have a feeling that Daniel is going to die. I'm calling that right now. Daniel's dying, and then the last one, when Ryan brought up the imagery, I noticed that Vanessa has a lot of blood on her hands because she wore a red dress, while Fisk is trying to look clean while wearing white. So
even when he brought her downstairs, like when he was bringing her down there, you saw that was that wall had all that blood from before with Kingpin was on there. So like you saw, and then she had blood again from when she shot him in the head. They saw the blood on the wall again. She has a lot of blood on her hands in multiple scenes.
So that red dress and him being white at that ball signified something else. So those were I forgot I had a little list. So yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Chris, you have
something to say? I've forgotten now I'm trying to remember what I was going to say.
Wow,
I remember. We'll keep going.
That's the first. Chris forgot something that he was gonna say. Wow, Danny. Let's hear your negatives, Danny.
Negatives. I really don't have any, bro.
Oh my
The
god.
show was good.
Oh my god.
I kind of didn't like how she was saying that she saved herself. Like when she
Mhm.
said when you talking about it.
Man, that
Yeah.
bitch is annoying.
Wow. The little energy that's between her and Matthew, I really don't like. But like I said, her looks overshadow that, so I can forgive her for that. That's about it, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna come with something good, and I was gonna avoid giving this one to you, but I'm gonna give you your own
Give
one.
it to me, bro. That's excellent.
Oh, man.
Save that one.
I had to give you your own one, Chris. Negatives.
The way that Rachel, right, the doctor
Heather.
Heather, she's so annoying.
I want to call her Rachel. I don't know why. I mean, maybe she's like Rachel off of Friends. Like, okay, we can write that part out. I don't know. I don't know. Her writing that they do is horrible. She's supposed to be a doctor. She's sitting there, and she's more. I don't know. She's more verbal diarrhea when she's talking to Matt about stuff. She should be able to express some of this stuff better. I mean, I'm not saying that because of the trauma she went through in the fight with Muse and Daredevil right there, and then she killing Muse, or who we think is Muse. I'm not saying that she wouldn't have issues, but you would think that she'd be much better equipped to express this to Matt. Express, hey, not just that you've been drawn away from me, or you've been very distant. Saying, listen, you are obviously going through things. I'm obviously going through things. There's something going on in here. We need to sit down and talk about this. But when she talks to him, it's always about, you need to talk. I don't have issues. You have issues, and that's not a doctor. Doctors, especially psychologists or psychiatrists, whichever one you want to say, they go to other psychiatrists and psychologists because they know they've got problems, because they listen to people's problems all the time. They know that they need to talk it out. And she just sits there and it sounds like psychobabble that doesn't make any sense. And it's poorly written, I think. Her part is poorly written. It didn't hurt anything originally because it was a love interest and she's just sitting there listening to Fisk and Vanessa. And so that works. It's fine. Okay, you're just a figurehead here listening to people and having a relationship with the main character. Now she's actually in dialogue parts where she has dialogue for it, instead of, how do you feel about this, Vanessa? How do you feel about this, Fisk? Or talking to Matt and all that stuff. Now she actually has parts that she has to discuss things, talk about things, and things like that. And ever since that started, it's not being written very well. Even when the Muse scene, it was very clunky, I felt. So her writing, bad. It's just really bad, I think. The other thing, Bullseye. This guy, granted, we don't have a ton. There's some in the original Daredevil series. This guy literally, if you remember in Deadshot, for instance, he can take a shot and use angles in a room off of things. How does he just think he just shoots straight forward, and then Matt takes the bullet for Fisk? It's like he can't make that shot. He doesn't know that this is too easy of a shot right there. It's like, I don't know. I think Deadshot would have been more prepared and not missed, even if Matt had tried to get in the way. I don't know. I don't like the way that Deadshot gets up there. Literally, hey, look at me. I'm up here on the balcony, and gets his gun out and then shoots. It's like, I don't know. It just, I wish Deadshot would be, or not Deadshot, but I wish Bullseye would be more menacing.
I feel you. JG, negatives.
Well, for starters, this should have been maybe an earlier episode, maybe. But like I said, it is what it is. Heather, I swear, I think we're all gonna say Heather, besides Danny. I do agree she ain't hard on Oz at all, but not at all. But and I agree with what Chris said, like, hey, you should be going to other psychologists or therapists, something like that. But she's been self-centered from the moment we first saw her. Every conversation is me, my book, my career, my this and my that. So when we see last episode, she's like, I love you, Matt. What? There has been like, what? So she's very annoying to me. Even though she went through a traumatic situation, it's I saved myself. I'm the one that killed me. I'm the one that pulled the trigger. Right? And it's like she's very annoying to me. And if she's supposed to be written as an annoying person, great. She served her role well. But,
You're talking about most of the North American women.
pretty much. Another thing, when Matt goes to the bar, Cherry, why are you there? You literally said 2 maybe sentences. Why are you there? To serve nothing more than a plot device. These side characters are so freaking annoying me because you're there for no reason.
Yeah, agreed.
Even though it's heading towards the storyline of Foggy, surviving possibly and all that stuff. Why are you there? Oh, that is true, Danny. That is very true.
Any woman's fine with makeup on.
That's not true. There's some.
I agree. The whole BB scene. At first, I didn't like it, only because, like, again, these side characters to me are just kind of in the way. But as I saw it again, I'm like, okay, I see where they're going with this. Okay, cool. Other than that, I'm trying to think of what else. When Matt walks into the ballroom, it's almost like he's forgetting he's supposed to be a blind person. Because he walks in looking around like he's looking for him.
Yeah.
He's moving through the crowd like he can see where he's going.
I can see.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what?
Isn't that like kind of something that's like a reoccurring theme in this whole episode?
It's like,
I understand that yes, you kind of sense everything that way, but you normally, like in the original series, they did hide. He hid it very well, and he only, when he was being Daredevil, did he ever really, let it all out. This episode of this series, it's like he does that. It's on and off all the time, in front of people, not in front of people. They're everywhere.
Exactly.
Sorry.
He's moving. Oh, you're good, man. And he's moving through the crowd like he sees everything, right? Now, typically, I don't know every blind person on Earth, of course, but the ones I have seen, they're kind of looking down, kind of looking in the air, looking around so they can get their senses. Of course, this is Daredevil. It's a different movie. But you're supposed to be pretending. Well, not pretending, but you're supposed to act as if you are a disabled blind person. Why are you moving through the crowd like you see everything? You know where everybody is. You told me to dance floor. He's pulling her.
Can hear your background TV, Danny. Danny, can hear your background TV.
Sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead, JG.
Yeah, it's an open spot right on the floor. That's just really more of a nitpick than anything. But to me, it's just I'm not getting it. But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to see what else. I do agree with the bullseye thing, where unless it was planned for that to happen that way, like you can do other means besides it being right there where everyone can see you right there. Like, I don't get it. Like, yeah, the blue thing was cool, but
I think I predicted that Kingpin was going to facilitate Bullseye getting out of there.
I'm pretty sure, probably. So.
No, it wasn't. But it wasn't, because it was explained that how could he? But I'll explain when I go.
Kingpin knew Vanessa.
Because Fisk was not in charge. Vanessa was, because even when Matt was sitting at the bar, he said, "Oh, wait a minute, she was in charge. So who did the hit? She did. Who let him go to Gen Pop? She did. She's been running everything. Remember, he even said, Fisk, in the beginning, I was gone for a year. So how could he have done that? That's why
I didn't say that. You're not listening, Warren. I said Fisk knew what she was doing.
No, she didn't know about. No, she did. What when you say she knows what he's doing?
Yeah, he did. He's the Kingpin.
No, when you, no. Let me ask you that when I'm trying to get that. I'm not trying to be funny. When you say you know what, I know that. I'm not. I'm literally. When you say he know what
Go ahead.
specifically, that's what I'm trying to figure out so I can answer you properly.
I'm telling you, Kingpin, while he was on his hiatus, getting healed, hurt, whatever he was out of the picture, he still knew what was. He knew what was going on with Vanessa. He might be didn't say nothing, but you can't tell me somebody that powerful ain't got somebody inside his organization giving him updates. My theory is that he knew what Vanessa was doing the whole time. He just playing dumb now to see what she gonna do. That is my whole theory.
Okay,
I can see that.
But if that's the case, why would she say I still have something to tell you then?
She don't know that he know.
He was.
Well, that doesn't stop what Danny says.
No, no,
Danny
no. I didn't
could
say
be
that.
right because he. Well, I know. I'm just saying. Why does she say that there's something she needs to tell him? Because all of a sudden, all these things are happening right in front of her, and she thinks she knows how this is going down, or she thinks something's going down, whether or not she meant for Bullseye to be there or not, or whether or not she wanted Bullseye to kill Fisk or not. She now wants to come clean, or at least try to play. Oh, I didn't know this happened. I didn't know this was going on. I think it's just a ploy. And I think she's scared now because she started in this episode, she started to see that Fisk is kind of still pulling the strings of everything. And now she's worried Fisk might know stuff that she thought he didn't know, maybe.
The same way that she didn't know that Fisk had Adam in that doggone cave, beating his butt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kingpin is always,
like I said, this episode he just showed
playing checkers.
Now, really quick, I'm sorry, Warren. I will say this: this is a plus on this, or a positive. That scene where he brings her down and shows Adam, that is him all of a sudden showing like I still can keep secrets. I can still keep things from you. I have information you don't know. And now that's what started to screw her in the head, thinking, oh shit. So when she's at the ball and Matt figures something out, and she now sees Matt might be figuring something out, she's worried now that if she doesn't tell Fisk and Fisk finds out or already knows, if she doesn't come clean, that's going to end up hurting her in the long run. So now she's all of a sudden starting to, like, whatever her plan is, if she's on Fisk's side or she's not on Fisk's side, now she's trying to save whatever her background purposes. And maybe that won't play out right with writing and all that. But I still think that's just her way to try to save face right now.
I got you. Brian,
sorry,
negative.
Warren,
okay.
Was Warren finished though?
Yeah.
No, I think it was it's Jay. It would be Brian and me now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure. Okay, fine.
I'll ask you a question before you start.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that Kingpin knew all this?
I would think he'd be stupid if he didn't know what Vanessa was doing. Does he know to the extent of what she's doing? Maybe not. But I know he definitely knows that she's up to some stuff, right? And you're right. He's probably just waiting for her to tell him. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he's been really lovey-dovey, and you know what I mean, especially towards the last episode. So I think there may be some things he don't know. That I do believe.
We are as men, we all done that. We know something our wife did, our girl did, and we're gonna see if they're gonna come and tell us, and we're gonna play coy until the times be like, boom. We've all done that in some shape, form, or fashion. I know I have.
No, I don't play coy. It's either you tell me straight up what's going on or that. I don't play coy. I don't play these games. Like if I know something's up, I'm
so it's all I have to do with you, Nzo, isn't it?
Yeah, if I know something up,
straight
I'm
up
in front of you right away. I'm not playing no games. I'm not waiting for you to come tell me something. No. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get it out right away. So I don't do that. That's just me though. Brian, go ahead.
All right. So natives, a penultimate episode is supposed to, start resolving major plot threads. Supposed to build up tension for the finale. I feel like it built up tension for his own episode. I feel like it resolving major plot threads. There's so many threads that are still out there, and without him being in the suit, there's not going to be a lot of resolution for it. But that's because once again, it's supposed to be 18 episodes, and they kept a lot of the same storylines. So I don't think it did the job of a penultimate episode in itself. I think the fact that we're all not knowing exactly what's going on shows that it's been inconsistent in a lot of the things that they're saying. The whole storyline is not that it's not good; it's very good writing, but it's inconsistent what's going on, and that makes sense because we have two different sets of writers that are doing some things. But that doesn't mean I can't still has as a criticism for what's going on in this episode. Overall, I'm not even sure that Bullseye is not working for himself in wanting to kill Fisk because Fisk put him in Gym Pop. I'm not even sure that's not what we're going to get. We're assuming that Fisk knows something, but he might not have to know anything because it might not be true. Until we know anything about Vanessa, we don't know enough because we don't even know if we're going to go back to that point and that in the plot because there's so many threads that are still out there. We don't know how they're going to tie this stuff up or if they can tie this stuff up. So those are all part of my whole negative because you should be in a penultimate tying things up, letting you know, pushing to a finale that is ascending, that's going to give you a wow moment. And I don't believe it can do that now. So, those are my overall negatives.
Warren, negative.
You muted, Chris.
Mute, Chris.
Yeah, Brian, can I ask you a question about that? Do you think that when they took it from 18 down to the 9, that they just said we're just going to do half of this and then put the other half out later, and they didn't care?
100%. And I think that
I feel that too.
The first thing they thought they were going to do was only have like 3 or 4 months between, but then they realized the viewership they're getting, and they need something in the back end of the year because there's not any movies coming out. So they pushed it further along to then kind of keep viewership going, and then have it, at the beginning of either this year and the beginning of next year before we start getting other movies coming out. I think they pushed it because strategically for that, but it's not for this show. This show hurts giving us a full year in between.
So you're probably with me on the thought process that if you're going to do that, fine, do it, but then shoot 2 other episodes, one that's a true finale for this part and one that's a reprise continuation of the finale into the next season.
They
so
could
they should have had 20 total.
In between this. They could have let this episode be the finale. And they could have gave us more stuff
exactly
in another one, and then it would have gave a penultimate and then a finale that would have gave us like on those things. You don't know what's going on. Is Matt going to be okay? Any of those? That's how a finale is supposed to go. But you don't do it in the penultimate.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're in agreement there.
Warren, negatives.
So it's kind of a negative twist into a positive. Though the episode was good, this felt like this episode should have came right after the first episode.
Facts.
That's the problem we have right here, and that's already a big problem because if you saw episode 1 with Bullseye, right, and then we saw this, okay, it makes sense. But now we waited 7 episodes later to get something, which throws it all off, and we're still confused and right where Brian mentioned earlier. I have a negative about the Adam thing. I think that was just like a little kid with his girlfriend, and he just, that Fist was like a brat. He's like, oh, I want to keep you, and I just didn't like that. And we know why they kill Adam, because he's gonna talk. Like, that's why. So he had to get killed.
But the actor said he's portraying Kingpin like he's a child. He said that, like he's portraying Kingpin like he's a immature child.
And we've seen that a lot. And anytime something goes wrong, what does Fist do? He starts yelling. He starts acting like a brat. So that's one. That's two. We've all harped on Heather. I think she is putting all the vigilantes in one bag because she can't live with the fact that a hero saved her and it was a mask, and that debunks her whole terms. When you find out the truth about something, you're in denial. And like Chris said, she's a doctor, and you're telling me she can't realize some simple logic that a hero saved her, even though it was a masked man, and a guy with another mask harmed her. Like, just because one bad apple doesn't spoil the whole bunch. So that's already a red flag for me, which means she's gonna die. So thank you, God. There is a Lord. So that's that's
Look
negative
to the
number.
sky.
That's negative number 3.
We're going straight to hell, buddy.
Kirsten. Kirsten is a character that she's like Foggy and Karen. They try to put in one, and it's just not working. It's not working for her.
Mm-mm.
I think that they should just write her off at this point. Like that law firm is not working. That whole does anybody here even care about Kirsten? I'm pretty sure you all will say no.
All she says is, "Matt, we need to talk."
We
Yeah, she's useless.
That's
she's
what she
useless.
says.
Yeah,
So
she's useless.
so to me, like, get rid of the Kirsten character. She's really
And the
not.
black guy too. The black guy too. Whatever
Jerry,
his name is in
I
the
don't
show.
get him
Oh,
either.
Jerry, Jerry,
He's
just
useless too.
he's
I like
useless.
Cherry. I like Cherry.
I like him too, but he's useless. He doesn't do nothing.
Cherry, we're talking about Cole North should be more. Cherry should be more like Cole North because Cole North. Remember, he opens a law firm with Foggy. So like in the real comic, so that he's really on the good side usually. So it's weird that we're getting him as that. Like it's so weird.
And you guys have brought up this before, is that they've taken characters from the original Netflix series and taken them out of this series and replaced them with basically shadows. Shadows. They're supposed to be what those other characters were,
100%.
but they're just shadows. They're just there. And like you said, oh Matt, we need to talk. I'm not going to do that for you. I remember when we talked about this last time. I said no, and all this stuff. It's like there's no stakes for those two characters, especially.
My last one is the woman that talked to Swordsman. I forgot the guy, and she's like, "Oh, where's my husband?" You tell me you couldn't show that scene where like the husband gets taken away? Like, come on! Like, if Fisk is doing dirty work, you tell me you can't do a quick 40-minute scene where we got the ATV cop, the task force taking the husband and has him in like a.
Warren, they have too many threads. They don't have time to do it all. That's
But
just what it is.
But that's a negative though. Like,
Yeah,
she's
they're
like.
not like wrapping up stuff. They're not able to.
That's what I'm saying. That is a negative because you're gonna. Oh, my husband, he's missing. Oh, but guess what? I'm gonna continue the party and just blah di da di da. Everything's okay. Come on, that's dumb. I'm sorry, that's dumb. So that's my 4 negatives.
Absolutely. All right, so I got kind of the same negatives as you guys. For me, one of my biggest negatives is that this does not feel like a season. Second to last episode, penultimate episode, just doesn't feel like it. You could have taken away what we seen after episode 3 to this episode, put that one there, and it wouldn't have changed nothing, right? It seems to me like all the Muse stuff is just, and again, we still don't know what's going to happen, if they're going to do anything with Muse at this point. I kind of think they're not. Right, going into season 2, I think the writers want to completely get away from what the old writers were doing. So I have a feeling that they're going to go that route, So it just seems to me like what we see, a lot of it was just a waste, And there's one scene in this where, and I get it, it's a movie thing, TV thing, but I call it out anytime I see it. Matt's in the dance and he's listening to what Fisk is going on, right? What's going on in the office. And Fisk is like calling different people in, and Matt's listening, and Karen's just fucking standing there. Like for 10 minutes, she's just standing there talking. She even says
Heather. She's talking. Yeah. And he's like, can you just shut the fuck up? I'm not, and she's like, you're not listening to me, Matt. It's like one of those annoying ass shit that you see all the time with boyfriend or husband and wives. It's like,
yes.
Stop talking.
And then not to mention, right? She says you're not listening, and then continues to stand there and talk. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, okay, you could have found a way. Maybe she walks away from him and he doesn't notice because he's paying attention, something like that. But she's just standing there. It just didn't make no sense.
Oh, remember, she doesn't know that he's Daredevil. She doesn't know.
No, I know that, but she knows he's not listening, right?
Oh, so I get it. I annoyed me too. Yeah, I got you.
Right. You're muted, Chris. You're muted, Chris.
Sorry. Let me be honest. Let's be honest about this. Being honest with ourselves. Those of us who are married or been with girlfriends and all that, we know we're not listening. They know we're not listening. They'll keep talking. We keep not listening. That is actually a very, very real scene.
For a certain while, yes. But for as long as he wasn't listening to her, she would have stopped talking and walked away. I'm
Well,
wasting my breath.
Yeah, like I
And
was
most women,
self-centered.
most women be
I
like,
did
I'm
keep
wasting my breath.
expecting.
You know what I
I
mean?
did keep expecting her to again go like, "See, I told you you're not listening."
Or something. You know what I mean?
I did
Yeah.
expect that. I did expect that. Yes.
But then she's
After
so self-absorbed that the world is she's the center of her own world, right? So I don't like it, but it
Yeah,
makes
G,
sense.
you better watch it, bro.
no, but what I'm saying is even after, so she says that we hear Kingpin talking, right? And Danny, your TV again, sorry. She says that we hear Kingpin talking, right? Then it goes back to Daredevil and he's listening. Then it goes back to Kingpin and he's listening. Then it goes back to Daredevil and he's listening. So all that time she was just standing there fucking. I was just like, nah. Sooner or later the woman's gonna be like, nah, screw this and walk away. You know what I mean? Get fed up and walk away. Not gonna sit there and just yap. Some of them will, but some of them will walk away. You know, so that was a big issue for me too. Again, I think what they should have done is this episode should have tied up some of the Punisher cop stuff, right? That's what it should have been. It's because we still don't know nothing about what happened to White Tiger, you know what I mean, or anything like that. Who did it, whatever. So they should have wrapped that up in this episode. And then the last episode should have ended with us thinking Daredevil was going to die, right? You could have had Daredevil and Punisher doing some Daredevil and Punisher-ish in this episode, right? Fighting the cops. They didn't even have to win. They just have to have like some sort of fight with them. You know what I mean? And then we get this episode where Daredevil goes to the ball to confront Kingpin because he's like, you sent those cops after me, blah, 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 whatever. Bullseye's there. Boom. Does what he does. Another thing is that conversation with Daredevil and Bullseye was a waste of time. Yes, I get it. It was because they needed a way to get Bullseye out of jail, right? But you got nothing from that. It was a waste of time for him to go there. So it was just like a plot device to let Bullseye get out of jail. I didn't like that. I thought that was so dumb. You could have done something totally different to have Bullseye get out of jail or something like that. You didn't have to put that in there, right? Because now it's like, oh, well, it's Daredevil's fault or Matt's fault why Bullseye is out, you know? So I just didn't feel it. There's a lot of things in this episode where I was just like, man, you could have done so much better to give us a second to last episode. Now, again, I do reserve my judgment because they can do something fire in the last episode to make it make sense. But when you go on this episode without watching the last episode, to me, it dropped the ball big time. And I have a feeling now you guys are saying, oh, it's just a Daredevil's going to be fine. He'll be back in the last episode, blah, 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 blah. Maybe. But if he's not, then what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? You get Daredevil finally in episode, what was it, 6?
Mm-hmm.
And then nothing
He's only
else.
been in 2. He's only been in 2. Period.
And then nothing else. And then nothing else.
And I don't think he is going to be in the action. I think it's going to be.
Do I?
It's going to be Punisher. You know, Frank is going to be the one who's going to bring the action. It's not going to be anything with Daredevil. You're going to have Karen back in there. They're going to be setting up what's going on. What the penultimate supposed to be doing, set up, you know, the finale. They're going to set up all season two in this episode with Punisher 100%. Being in it. That's what's going to happen.
100%. We may even get and even what I said too is like, if you're going to incorporate the Defenders in there, then this episode could have had little clips because there's one scene where he says, oh yeah, vigilante crime is down. Well, you could have showed them going after vigilantes, which is why the Punisher gets involved, right? All of a sudden now, the Punisher didn't care that this cop was running around using his shirt to pretending to kill people, right? Kill White Tiger. He didn't care then, but all of a sudden now he's going to pop in and care because what? Matt got shot. It's just, you could have tied it up so much better. You know what I mean? You could have had the Punisher, the cops going after vigilantes, and one of them could have been the Punisher. And Punisher realizing, okay, this is, you know what I mean? Daredevil, him, do their thing. They fight them. Whatever you want to use them for next season, fine. They get away, the cops get away, Daredevil, whatever you want to do. And then the last episode is this episode, and it ends with, like you said, Daredevil lying on the ground, and you hear like his actual heartbeat feeling like it's pumping away. Now, obviously, we all know that Daredevil is not going to die, but at least if you end it like that, it's like, oh, that's a good ending. You know what I mean? That's something that I think, and you just needed way more action in the second to last episode, because one thing that these Disney shows do, and not a lot of them, all of them, they wait until the last episode to tie everything together. And most of it doesn't work. It ends up being a jumbled mess. How many times have we watched a show where it's like, oh, this show's not too bad, and then the last episode comes on and it just kills the whole show? Secret Wars, one of them. Right? Secret Wars wasn't great, but it was good until that last episode, and that last episode just dropped
Secret
the ball.
Invasion?
Secret Invasion, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Secret Invasion just dropped the whole ball on that. So that's what I have an issue with, and I have a feeling that that's one of the biggest issues that I'm going to have with the final episode. Again, they can do something to make me say, oh, that is great. But until then, I'm still going to reserve it to, like Brian said, as a penultimate episode. It is garbage. 100%. It's trash. It's not good, right? As a standalone or for the series, it's like standalone, it's a good episode. But for that, it's just not. And I think a lot of people who are like, oh, this is so great, are still going on the nostalgia of what we got in the first two seasons. And they really don't want to criticize what we're actually seeing in this one, because those first two seasons are great. They're great. They're great Marvel TV shows. And this one just does not stand up to it at all. Dandelion says, stop, Anzo. I don't want this show to suck. I want them to nail the landing.
I do too. I think we all do. But I think you brought up a good point. And we've said this before. This particular
first three
episode,
seasons, yes, sorry.
Yeah. This particular series, if you're going to incorporate the same actors as the Netflix series, why not just say to the writers that did that series, hey guys, come on, let's keep going. What was your next? What did you want to do next?
Because that wasn't their plan, right?
I understand that wasn't
their plan. They got these whole new writers. And again, what they did was, and I have a feeling I know why they did it, right? Because when you watch the first two seasons, Karen and Vanessa already know he's Daredevil, right? So now you got to bring in two more people who don't know he's Daredevil at first, but end up finding out, so that you could bring in that dynamic of, oh, you need to be doing this, and what's wrong with you, Matt, and the same kind of narrative that they did in the first three or the first.
Well, they kind of got that with Cherry, because he knows.
Hold on, go ahead, Danny.
They kind of got that with Cherry because Cherry knows.
Yeah, right. Cherry knows, but that's what I'm saying. It's following the same path as the other show, because I think Foggy was the one to find out before Vanessa or something like that. I can't remember, right? And then Foggy was the one like, oh, you can't be Daredevil. You shouldn't be doing that, blah, 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 blah. And that's the same thing Cherry's doing now. So if you're going to do that, why just
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that I know what Disney Plus wants. Disney Plus, all those subsidiaries of Disney, it's we'll do it ourselves. We don't need you. They do it with all the fairy tales. They did it. I mean, even back when they did Snow White in the 1930s, they appropriated something and they turned it into what they wanted. Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, all those were changed into a Disney thing. So people want to blame Disney now for things that they do now. They've been doing it since Disney has been around. You have to understand this is nothing new for Disney. So that's, I don't question that. What I'm saying is there is something to be said about, hey, we're going to keep the actors. We should keep the writers and say, guys, we're going to just do what you did already. What would you do? What was your next steps? That's what I'm saying. I don't disagree. I understand why they're doing what they're doing. They want it to be their own thing, but they're just rehashing things that have already been done with cardboard cutouts of characters now instead of actual characters. I'm just saying it does surprise me when we're going to say, let's keep Vincent D'Onofrio, let's keep the guy that's playing, Daredevil, all this. Why don't we just keep the writers too and just move forward. You could still play out that Foggy could be dead. You could still write out the girlfriend, the original girlfriend from the first series.
Karen.
Anyways, Karen, thank you. And you could still write her out for the first few episodes. You could do all that, but go somewhere else now. And then have them come back later on into it. And if you're going to bring Foggy back, which they may still do, I'm just saying there's something to be said about the fact that Disney just needs to learn, hey, if we're going to keep the actors, we might as well keep the writers.
Right, because they thought they could do it themselves, and then when they got the final product, they got what they're like, this is trash. Like, that's the only reason why they brought back the original writers, is because they did not like what was going on. So they say, hey, listen, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to cut it to 9 seasons. You guys are going to fix up this show here, what we have here, and then we're going to give you season 2 to do what you want to do. That's exactly what they did. Because if they had seen the original stuff and it was good, we would have never seen the original writers back. So it's just crazy that they did that. But we're going to get into our grades, and then we're going to get into predictions for the final episode. Danny is back, so I'm going to start off with Danny. Your grades and predictions for the final episode, sir.
I give this episode, I give it a B+. Predictions, I don't know. It's going to be hard. I think we may see a time jump, a flashback, one of the two, maybe both. We may see Vanessa get killed. I think Kingpin may make sure that he really truly is the apex predator. I'm not sure about Vanessa, and I'm not sure about Heather either. So I think one or both of them may get killed in this final episode. I prefer Vanessa, but either one of them don't make me no difference. But that's what I believe is going to happen.
I got you. I could see. You see, here's the thing. Because what happened is, it's like I could see the Punisher cops going after Vanessa because they know it's Matt's girlfriend, and is like, hey, that's Daredevil, whatever. But now that Matt saves Kingpin, it seems like Kingpin is going to owe Daredevil one. So he's not going to go after Daredevil, at least for a minute anyways. So where are we going in this last episode? That's my problem. Chris, grades and predictions.
I'll agree with Danny on the B+. Predictions. I still think this is playing out that Daredevil just put some 2 and 2 together, and that Vanessa realizes that he's put 2 and 2 together. And in the long run, I think we're going to find out that Kingpin already knows all this. Because Kingpin shows up in the Echo and says, oh, you know what? He basically comes clean and then thinks that she's going to turn around. I don't know. Kingpin, even when you think he doesn't know, he does know. And I think that's one of the things about his character. Plus, he knows you can come after me. Go ahead. I got shot in the eye. I've been through this. I got my ass beat here. I've been bleeding here. I've done this. This has happened to me. I've gone to, he is an immovable force. You can do whatever you can to him, and he's going to come back, and he's still going to be something you have to deal with. So I still think that he knows probably what all is going on around here. Matt's trying to figure it out, but he's starting to think maybe, and that's especially if they bring Foggy back. If Foggy was really, if the killing was a fake killing, he just put something together. They would not have brought up the weight. At least if I'm a writer, I don't write the line and wait, he was going to win his first case. Why would he have done this? What this happened? This happened. This happened. Why write that into a series if that's not going to become something later on? So I still think Foggy's in play. Still think Muse is in play. It's going to be very difficult. There's going to be a lot of open-ended stuff here at the end of the next episode. We're just going to have to accept that. I don't. At least I hope. I'll put it this way: I would much rather there still be open-ended things than them to try to close all of it off. That's what I'll say. I'd much rather let's leave some open-ended things. Be a little like, oh, God, why'd you do this? We saw this coming. But at least if they admit in their own heads, we can't wrap this all up. Let's just pick a few things out. Let's wrap those things off, and then we'll come back around. As long as they did that, I'll be okay with it.
I got you.
There you go.
I don't mind if they have a few things still open for season 2, because you always got to do that to keep people wanting season 2. But they gotta close a lot of the threads that they still have open. JG, grades and predictions.
Again, I do agree with the B+, agreeing with Danny and Chris on that. Predictions. I mean, of course, no, Matt's got to be in the hospital after that shot. If he's not, he's walking around with that cane. I'll be surprised. I can see Vanessa panicking and telling Fisk that she's pregnant to save herself from something. And then we find out she actually is pregnant. She probably doesn't even know it. Right? Because we have predicted that maybe she's pregnant to have a baby and she dies or something happens to her. Who knows? But she has had a talent for survival this so far. And it's the first time the episode we've seen her kind of panic a little bit, like, oh, I have something to tell you. Right? So maybe she tries to go the pregnancy route to save herself. Man, I just don't know. Like, if this was an earlier episode, it'll be much easier to predict. Now that's my whole thing with Disney taking over stuff. They Disney-fy things a lot. And so,
agreed.
Daddy getting on somebody. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, like you guys said, maybe this will be a Punisher episode. Maybe Defenders or one Defender may play a role in this. Who knows? I really don't know.
I got you. Brian.
All right. So as an episode in itself, I'm going to give it a B. As a penultimate episode, I'm going to give it a D. So my overall grade is a C. Overall grades, it's a regular C. Going forward, I think, as I said, I think Matt's going to be in the hospital. I think he's going to bring him being in the hospital is going to bring Karen back because he's hurt. That's going to draw him in. I think it's going to draw Frank out to to give us a lot of the action. He's going to kind of be there talking about we got to get this under control. This is getting out of hand. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bullseye fight the Punisher. I wouldn't be surprised if we get that type of action going in. I also think we're going to get a little bit more of the vigilante cops. But with that being said, they're not going to be able to tie even the necessary things that they got to tie up. They won't be able to finish it in this one episode, unless it's like an hour and a half long, which I don't see. I think it's going to try to give us more. Season 2 is going to be a lot of Daredevil, of him being Daredevil, because I think the ending scene is going to be Matt realizing he is Daredevil and he's okay to be Daredevil. It doesn't matter. So I think overall that's what we want to get to, and we're going to get there. I just don't like the route that they took. Give us 9 episodes that could have took 4.
I got you. Dandelion said she's too old and the baby would be Adam's. Terrible.
Yeah, it could be Adam's. She's pregnant, and it is Adam's baby.
No, I never said it was Fitz's baby. Dandelion. The MCU Dandelion. Blind man can't flip off buildings and use weapons to do crap. You see it happen. Dandelion. Okay, sorry.
Warren, grades and predictions.
Grades. I'll give it a B- at best. Overall predictions. They're gonna end this episode like they do with Disney shows, but Netflix style. I think we're gonna get Frank. We're gonna get Daredevil in costume, but it's gonna be still in the red costume. Other than that, none of the things will get tied up, sadly, till the next season. I don't think people that I said that will die. I'd be surprised if they die in the next episode. But nothing will get. The only thing that's gonna get resolved is that Fisk is basically, for the first 9 episodes, he's basically winning so far. That's the only thing that's getting wrapped up. That he's solidified himself with this task force, and that they're just the lay of the law of the land until they can really debunk them. So it's kind of bittersweet, but that's my predictions for now. I don't see anything great.
Joe Black said, I don't like any of these characters. I don't even care that Matt got shot. I cared more when Nubu effed him up.
Thank you.
I didn't say she was pregnant, Dandelion. I said that she could use that as a ploy to save herself, Dandelion.
Wow, that's some vitriol hate right there, Dandelion.
Yeah, I know,
I got
right?
something to say every time I say something. I know this is funny. I got nothing but love for you.
At this point, I'm ready to debate Falcon and Winter
Oh.
Soldier over Born Again. Me too, Joe
Wait,
Black.
time
I'm
out,
right
time
there
out.
with you. Yes,
Time
I
out.
am there. Yes.
Dandelion says there's no way they've been fucking. How do you know? I mean, they could hate each other and still want to do that. I mean, I don't know
Who
about
said
you, but
they've been
hate fucking
I said
sometimes
she
is
gonna say
great.
that she's pregnant to get out of something.
Yeah, I don't think
She making her own storyline.
I don't think I don't think he's slapping that meat either. I just don't. You know what I mean?
He keeps saying Fist. I never said Fist did anything. I said that she could say that she's probably pregnant to get out of something.
Well, then we know it's Adam's baby, and that's gonna kill Fisk even more. So yeah,
but he might take it and and adopts it because Adam's dead.
See,
He might.
Dandelion.
It might, but I doubt it. I don't see that. I'm giving this episode. I am giving it, and I'm going with Joe Black a D-.
Oh my god,
100% D-. Last episode,
you're like,
hey, last episode I gave an F, so a D- is a step up, right? And so definitely. Now I reserve my grade. Hold on, I reserve my grade because if the next episode is good and it makes sense and it ties into this episode, makes it better, then I'll change my grade on this episode. But until then, it's a D-. What were you gonna say, Chris?
I remember what I was going to say now. Danny brought up the thought process of when or I think it was Danny that brought up the thought process that maybe all of a sudden Matt was going to end up having this like regenerative healing quality or something that brought him out of it so he could be in the next episode after getting shot or whatnot. Would it be against the rules to bring somebody like Mantis or another character in the Marvel universe we've either seen or haven't seen that has regenerative abilities to heal others to show up and heal him? I mean, again, they're adding characters in here that we haven't seen. So I'm not saying they won't do something. Now, is that definitely jumping the shark like Disney likes to do? Yes, it is. But
we talking about the character, Dandelion, not the real actress, the character. Oh my god! I'm sorry, Chris. All right, I'm sorry.
I'm just telling it. Vanessa
Karen
might be able to get pregnant.
Karen's going to be in this episode, guys. Just gotta remember this. Karen's going to be in this episode. So how does she get in this episode? Because Max shot. That's the only reason that she was going to be there.
Yeah.
You can't fast forward through her being there and then for her not to be in the next season.
I agree.
Does she end up? Yeah, I mean, does she end up coming back because of that? And is that when we get Foggy back? And do we find out that these characters they replace these people with are nothing but cardboard cutouts for that very reason because they know they're bringing back those characters?
They might end the season. They might end the episode saying, "What Karen's saying, Matt, I have to tell you something," and that's it.
And Joe Black said, "No way the last episode can be good with Matt out of commission. It is absolute best. At its absolute best, it could be a backdoor pilot to the Punisher. That could be it too.
Are they doing that? I know there's been rumors that they're going to. They are definitely doing it now. I'm fine with that. It's just let's bring those writers over. I mean, I'm not going to say the Punisher series was like perfect or great, but it had good episodes. Daredevil had good episodes. There were again, I've said of the Marvel and the DC TV series that they had with Netflix and CW, Netflix killed it over CW 99.9% of the time. There have been some times in some episodes in some series that CW and DC did really well, but the series we got from Marvel at the beginning of the MCU, I really think added to it. And then they started getting stupid and trying to write it out of canon. And now all of a sudden, here we are back around to it and saying, no, it is all canon. It's like, so.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is better than anything that Disney has done, to be honest with you.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was good. It's just then they, 3 seasons in, was it? 3 or 4 seasons in, they basically wrote it out of canon, right?
Yeah.
And that was the stupidest move they ever could have done.
Yeah, that was the issue with the writers and Kevin
I know,
Feige and all kinds of crap.
I
So,
know, but what I'm saying is now all of a sudden all this stuff is coming back into canon. It just,
yeah.
I mean, it's like, I don't know.
I'm hearing they want to bring Quake back for Secret Wars. So that's right there. You're just tying it into Agents of Shield again after breaking it up. So if you're gonna bring Quake back, bring back Mac, but make him play.
He's not going
Luke
to
Cage.
be Luke Cage.
Make him be Luke
Oh
Cage.
my
All
God.
right, let's do that. Let's make him Luke Cage. With that being said, guys, it was a great episode. But I got The Last of Us to watch now, so we are going to close it up. Mr. Danny Graham, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on my channel, The Road to Wisdom, on Mondays and Fridays at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me here next week for the last roundtable for this particular show. You can find me Tuesday night with Nzo watching the last episode. And of course, on Wednesday, you can find me sometime on OOC and the Hangout. And last but not least, Sundays on Storms Live. So a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit everywhere.
Yes. Thank you very much. Next up, Mr. Knight. Tell the people where they can find you, sir.
A lot of the same things that Danny brought up. So, here on Anzo's channel, of course, Chaos Central, Real Review 3000, Road to Wisdom. Anywhere and everywhere I can go. I try to be where I can. We're getting ready to start back up some stuff. Things that have been on hiatus for a long time. I'm looking into trying to pick back up on so that Anzo doesn't have to be the only grand champion around. We're going to try to find out what we can do with that. So the Rumble will be coming back, Gospel According to Chris, some stuff like that. Just got to get some things in line, make sure we have it all lined out. And I think talking to Danny and Anzo, soon we will be bringing back the Chaos shows again. We're looking forward to that, I think. So I do want to thank everybody here, everybody on the panels, everybody I stream with, for sticking with me for 2 years. It's been a long fucking time. But anyways, guys, you can find me there. And of course, on Tuesday or Wednesdays, I do something called Unmasking the Masked Singer. We are now in the lucky 6 of season 13 of the Masked Singer. So check that out. It's on Tuesday afternoons or Wednesday afternoons. I do that. Actually, the last one got like 1,500. I was at 1,500 views in 30 minutes.
Nice.
On a short. So, I mean, people like it. So if you guys want to check it out, check that out. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Chris, who's that guy?
Facts.
All right.
I'll let Warren go because he really has nothing to say. Warren, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me here when they do roundtable. When they do roundtables and at home and God.
We can find you with God.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah, I know, right? And last but not least, Brian, tell the people where they can find you.
Hey, I'm 1/3 of Spoiler Kings. I go on live Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We're gonna be doing Last of Us review tomorrow. Cannot wait to do that. On Tuesdays, I go do an Anzo on Bigger for Entertainment. We're doing From. Cannot wait to talk about this because I missed last week and made him late, so it was real bad. So I can't wait to get that done this week. And you know what? I do my sports show on the Dynasty Pylon. So if you ever want to do anything with football, visit me there. I'm gonna do stuff Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays on that too. So
absolutely 100%. Bigger Ford Entertainment. So I want to say this next week, since it'll be the last roundtable for Daredevil. If this show is good, if I'm watching this episode and it's good, then we're gonna start about 30 minutes earlier so that I can do the watch party for this and episode 2. So I'm just letting you guys know from now. So we'll see how this episode plays out. But finally, JG, the hypest hype man on YouTube. Let the people know where they can find you, sir.
JG Shaolin Terrific, the undefeated, undisputed final boss of the 36 Champions of Shaolin. Why? Thank y'all for tuning in for this crazy, wild, fun roundtable we had. You catch me live Wednesday nights on the OOC with the host Nzo, aka the Abbott, the Osiris of the Sheet, Spliff King, the Professor of Gunja, alongside his co-host Roberto, aka Mr. 100, aka No Trouble Did Anything Gonna Be Irie. No woman, no cry.
Pause for a second, JG. Pause for a second. Hold on. Before I get a boo. Anzo will hate on it. No, I won't. If it's good, I'm not gonna hate on it, brother. You know what I mean? I like season 1. I'm not gonna hate on it. I just hate on trash.
Truth hurts.
JG, continue.
And also, since he kind of called me out, check out Warren. He is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Check out Chris Knight, the last Don himself on Chaos Central, doing some big things over there, as always. Look at that handsome face right there. And check out Brian, 1/3 of the Spoiler Kings, Yasuke himself. The man should be casted as Luke Cage, F.U. Mike Coulter. Spoiler Kings, the Titans of YouTube. Check him out, Brian the Grizzly. And last but not least, the amazing, the outstanding, the charismatic, always man of the hour, the man who's always delivering that good message unapologetically, the man with the fashion sense that can turn any pauper into a prince, Semper Fi himself, one of the finest police officers to ever grace these great, you hear that on so these great United States. Can you smell it? Can you smell it? You smell the hate right there. Can you smell it? Do you smell la 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 what Daddy's cooking?
So first off, you might be correct. It might be in my blood. I'll agree with you on that. But when it's good, I will let you know it's good. And this is the reason. The reason why I said that first is because it said y'all need to do a Devil May Cry or Black Mirror roundtable. Well, I watched the first episode of Devil May Cry and I'm like, nope, I can't do this. I don't like anime. I can't get into it. I'm sorry. They just start talking and I'm just like, oh man, I can't do this. So yeah, you may be right on that one, Anik Jones. But Black Mirror was fire. There were some good episodes. I watched some of it today. There were some good episodes in Black Mirror. But yeah, the Devil May Cry, I'm gonna pass on that one. You know. With that being said, guys, thank you all for coming in. Much appreciated. We will see you on the next one. I am about to go watch The Last of Us right now. So peace, love, and hair grease.
I am inevitable.
Blind faith, I see the game in braille. Hell's Kitchen got the devil in the details. Red suit, but my sins stay pale. Shadow boxing with my past, never ring that bell.
I'll watch up to the episode 3. I'll give it 3 episodes.
Preaching the streets while I'm dodging the death threats. Halo got horns when the system neglects. Law on my veins, but the pain my pretext. Flip like a coin, heads turn when I'm flipping them. Dancing on the edge, got the reaper in my peripheral. Gospel of the fist, every hit like a parable. Scripture in my stars, every cut unforgettable. Walk with the Lord, but I talk with the sinners. Breaking my bread with the wolves and the winners. Blind to the fear, but I see through pretenders. There with the devil, I dine with Avengers. I've been ready to feast, Hell's Kitchen set the table. Fork in the road, but I'm steady staying faithful. Sins on my plate, but the chef keep it tasteful. Born again, but the city stay fatal.